Hello and welcome back to my crochet channel. In this video I'm revisiting one of my older designs, and this is a fox mason jar crochet cozy. And this was during a phase where I was making mason jar cozies. I started off with a bear, and then I made a raccoon, and then a fox, and I probably would have kept going, but you know, other ideas started popping into my head. The written instructions for this fox mason jar crochet cozy can also be found on my blog at popstomilk.com, and of course I will leave a link in the description. Alright, so I've gathered all my materials. I've got the orange worsted weight yarn, my 4mm crochet hook. I will need some thread and a needle to sew the pieces. Like I've got some black felt for the nose and an off-white sort of shade for the back of the eyes, and then I've got some 7mm safety eyes, a yarn needle, and a stitch marker. You will definitely need that. Oh, and of course a pair of scissors. Okay, so round one, we're going to start with a magic ring and work 6 single crochet into the magic ring. I've got a tutorial on how to do a magic ring on my channel, and I will leave a link to that as well. I will also be using a stitch marker to keep track of my rounds, since this is worked in continuous rounds, so there is no joining at the end of each round or turning. So it's all continuous rounds, again similar to making amigurumi. Pull the yarn tail to close the magic ring, and then we can move on to round 2. And in round 2, I'm going to increase in each stitch around for a total of 12 stitches at the end of the round. In round 3, I'm going to do another round of increases. This time it's going to be an increase and then a single crochet, or you can switch it up and do a single crochet first and then an increase. It's up to you. Sometimes I switch things around, but essentially you want to do an increase and then a single crochet into the next stitch and repeat that 6 times for a total of 18 stitches. In round 4, I'm going to single crochet into the next 2 stitches and then increase, and then repeat that 6 times for a total of 24 stitches. This cozy will fit your standard 500ml mason jar, but you can always adjust the size. You can increase or decrease the base circle, so you can maybe make a smaller one for those smaller mason jars, or just, you know, increase maybe another round or 2 to make it bigger. And then of course if you want it shorter or taller, then you know, you can adjust the number of rounds that you work. Okay, round 5, single crochet into the next 3 stitches and then increase and repeat that 6 times for a total of 30 stitches. So as you're working, just keep a sort of relaxed sort of tension. You don't want this to be super loose, but you don't want it to be too tight. Like, you want some flexibility so that your mason jar ends up fitting without any trouble. Of course, if you do make it tighter, then there's a less likely chance that your mason jar is going to slip out, which has happened to me before. So it all depends on the function and how you want to use the mason jar cozy. And you can play around with that, play around with the tension, and maybe even use a different size hook if you feel that that works better. I think I have made these mason jars with a 3.75mm hook and maybe even a 4.5mm just depending on the type of project that I was working on. So there is some flexibility in these mason jar patterns. Alright, coming up to round 6, single crochet into the next 4 stitches and increase, and repeat that 6 times for a total of 36 stitches at the end of the round. Alright, so I've come to the end of round 6, and round 7 I'm going to single crochet into the back loops only. So instead of working in both loops, I'm just going to insert my hook into this back loop and work a single crochet into each stitch around. So no increases or decreases in this round. I'm just working a single crochet into the back loop only of each stitch. And what this will do is it's essentially going to create a little ridge at the bottom and basically create a sort of division between the base and the body. And at this point, it's a good idea to bring out the mason jar that you're going to be using and just make sure that the base is a good size for it. If you need to adjust and add more rounds or remove rounds, you can do that at this point and then move on to the back loop only stage. Okay, and that is round 7. So you can see it's already starting to create the walls that will go around the mason jar. Now rounds 8 to 20, or maybe even 22 rounds, add an extra 2 rounds if your stitches are on the tighter side. You're just going to single crochet around until round 20 or 22. This design actually really got me even farther along in making amigurumi, and it was a nice break from making amigurumi as well. This mason jar cozy is great to give to someone as a gift. I know I gave my sister a few for housewarming, and she ended up using it to put spices in her jars, and then she put the cozies on the jars. I originally, when I made my first mason jar cozy, the bear mason jar cozy, that was basically because I would make smoothies or drink hot drinks like coffee or hot chocolate, and I didn't want my hands to burn or to get too cold, so I made these mason jar cozies for those jars. I think at the time foxes were trending. They were really big, so you know, hopped on that trend. Okay, I have finished single crocheting all the way around and I'm at the end of round 20, so now in the final round is where I'm going to add the ears. So for this next round, start off by making a single crochet into the next 13 stitches. In the next stitch, I'm going to make one double crochet, 2 treble crochets, then chain 2, make 2 treble crochets, make another double crochet, and chain 2. Then skip the next stitch and slip stitch into the next 6 stitches. And in the next stitch, I'm going to repeat that again, make double crochet, make 2 treble crochets, chain 2, make 2 more treble crochets, make another double crochet and chain 2. Then I'm going to skip the next stitch and slip stitch into the next stitch. And that's it. Now I'm going to cut the yarn and weave in the ends. For the eyes, I've cut out with the felt, the off-white felt, I've just cut out 2 almond-shaped pieces. This I leave completely up to you. This is going to be your preference on the shape of the eyes. For the nose, I'm just using a very small piece of black felt. I just cut it into sort of triangle shape. And that's going to be the nose. And I'm just going to sew that on with some black thread. You can attach the safety eyes first onto the felt, or you can sew the felt onto the body and then attach the safety eyes. This is all up to you. In this tutorial, I am sewing on the felt pieces onto the body first, and then I'm attaching the eyes afterwards. Mark where you want the eyes to be and maybe cut a very, very small hole into the felt so that you can fit the safety eye inside that little cut. If necessary, you can trim the excess stem from the safety eyes. I recommend doing this only if it's really getting in the way. Otherwise, just leave it. It's better to have the safety eyes have a longer stem than to have the safety eyes come undone because you trimmed them too much, which I have definitely done. Now for the tail. I'm going to leave a starting tail so that I can use it to sew onto the body later. You can also just omit this step and just leave a tail at the end to sew onto the body. I'm going to start by making 10 chains, and then I'm going to single crochet into the second chain from the hook and into the next 7 stitches. I'm going to switch to an off-white sort of creamy yarn color, and I'll make 4 single crochet with the cream colored yarn in the last chain. Then I'm going to switch back to orange and continue on the bottom of the foundation chain and continue single crocheting until the end. Then I'm just going to cut the yarn and sew it onto the body. If there is a bit of a gap in the ears and you want them to be a little bit more pointy, you can use a bit of orange yarn just to stitch that closed. Use your yarn needle and sew it together so that it's a little bit more pointy and there are no gaps in the ears. And that is it. The crochet fox mason jar cozy is all done. It's ready to hold your jars, whether you use them for storing your spices or condiments, dried goods, or if you use them for hot drinks or cold drinks. These are going to be lifesavers for your hands and also for surfaces so they don't leave any water stains. Protects your surfaces also from spills, and I mean, it's just so cute. How could you not want to have this on your desk or your table? Like, it just makes some really cute decor. You could probably even use this as a vase or vase, however you say it, or even use this as a plant cozy if you want to do that too. You can definitely adjust the pattern for that. Well, I hope you have enjoyed this tutorial on how to make a crochet fox mason jar cozy. Let me know if you would be interested in seeing the bear version or the raccoon version. So let me know. And let me know what you think about this fox mason jar cozy. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. It really helps to support my channel. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing for more videos like this. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.